At this time, I'd like to call to order the Fishers Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for Wednesday, May 26, 2021. I ask you to please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary, could you please call the roll? Here.
Here. Here.
The first order of business is approval of our previous minutes on April 28th of 2021. Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve April 28th minutes from the meeting.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Our first order of business tonight is case VA 21-16, which was continued from April, Mattingly Flower Market. It's consideration of a variance of use and development standards from the city's Unified Development Ordinance to allow for a seasonal flower market and associated site improvements at 13573 East 116th Street, generally located on the south side of 116th Street, west of Oleo Road. Our petitioner is Tim and Jane Ann Mattingly. If they would approach the podium, please, state their names.
Mr. Frucci, point
Yes.
of order on this. Typically, when we have only three members present of the board and it requires a unanimous vote of the board to approve or disapprove, you allow the petitioners to continue the item to the next meeting if they would rather have more members present to hear.
Yeah. Thank you. And just for the petitioners that are in the room, we only have three members tonight. One of our members is unable to attend. So because we only have three members, in order for your petition to pass, all three members have to vote in favor. If one of them votes against the petition would fail, versus if we had four and one voted against the petition could still pass. So you have the opportunity at this point. If you want to continue your petition, you're free to do that until next month. So with that, I'd ask Mrs. Mattingly to approach and let us know if she would prefer to continue the petition until next month, or she'd prefer to move forward this evening.
Hold on. We'll go for it.
Okay.
Might as well, we're here.
Okay. Thank you.
Though. And thank you for having us this evening. Again, my name is Jane Ann Mattingly, my husband Tim. We're requesting the variance for a flower market. We've lived at our home for 11 years, and we've enjoyed the space that it offers with our animals, gardens, and our most recent adventure has been growing flowers, and this is my fourth year to grow flowers, and the idea behind it was to make bouquets and sell to charity, or sell and give the money to charity. I'll put a picture up here real quick. That's just a back view of the yard when the flowers are blooming. It's a lot of work, but we have been trying to involve our daughter and some of her classmates at Guerin to get service hours, and so in growing the flowers, it's been kind of an experience to just have people over, just enjoy just our yard and just our animals. This is our alpacas. They kind of help out with the flowers. And thank you. Yeah, that one. Here's our daughter with her friends as they were picking some bouquets last fall, and those flowers went to, they just gave them away that year, that in the fall, because with COVID we couldn't really do much with them. So that was that. So our idea is to just be able to sell flowers on Saturday mornings and give the money to charity. It's just a way to involve our family, their friends, kids at school, neighbors. Our neighbors we've talked to, they've been very supportive of it. I wasn't for sure how they would feel about it, but they've been very supportive. And all the businesses around us have been supportive as well. And I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions?
Members of the board, do we have any questions for the petitioner? I do have one question.
Yes.
You said it was seasonal.
Yes.
Can you tell us from when to when?
It would be roughly from maybe the mid-July through the end of September. But we do have 5 children, and it's our home, and we're busy. So it's not something that I foresee doing every Saturday during that time frame. I'm guessing a handful of times a summer, maybe 6 times to up to 10 times at the most a summer, but it's just something to squeeze in there when we have time to do.
And how do you propose to attract your customers?
Word of mouth. It would only be people we would know. It's not going to be for like the general public, anything like that, because again, it's our home, and I don't want just random people walking up. I might mention it on Facebook, but it would only be for people I know, and it would be capped out at a certain number. I wouldn't want too many people there.
I do have one question. I guess to continue that line of discussion regarding the number of people there. I did read your letter that you shared with Ms. Schaefer regarding hosting the market, ranging from about 25 to 30 customers each week. Is that still your intention to cap it around that number?
Yes. Yeah, because I think it could be very overwhelming for us to have any more than that amount of people. And I would want it just to keep it very personal, just where we can talk to people. If people have questions on how to grow flowers, or even questions about our animals, the alpacas, it's just more of an experience, I think, for people. And then to even hear more about the charities that they would be supporting. Possibly I might like to have people that are involved in that charity there to talk more about their charity to the people coming by, to kind of spread the word. So yeah, it's going to be at a reasonable number, because for our sake and everyone else around us.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. If anyone is here to speak on this petition, we'd ask them to please approach the podium, state their name and address, and move forward. Is anyone here for the public hearing? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask staff to present, please.
Good evening, Megan Schaefer with the Planning and Zoning Department. So this item is for a use variance for the Mattingly Flower Market. So just to locate this property, this is on the southwest corner generally of 116th and Oleo Road. It is owned by the petitioners, Tim and Jane Ann Mattingly, and they currently do live at this property. The current zoning is estate residential, and their existing land use, as mentioned, is the single-family residential. So this flower market would be considered an agricultural use, which is not currently permitted by right in an estate residential zoning district. Agriculture is only permitted in the agricultural district and in our open space zoning district. And the intended flower market would exceed what we would consider a home occupation, as the number of vehicles generated to the property is going to exceed 1, which is what our current ordinance allows. So that is the purpose for the variance tonight. So with this proposal, there are no intended site improvements. This is the existing property, and I'll just mention a few of the features. So you can see in green, that's where the existing flower fields are located. They also have an existing barn, which is really, as I understand, where the market will occur. And then the areas identified as A, B, and C, identified in red, are where they would have people park who are coming to the property. So they do have some existing surfaces that would allow for the number of vehicles that they're expected to generate. There is one driveway that is off of 116th Street. That would be the only access point to this property for the market. Our engineering department, along with our traffic consultant, A&F Engineering, did complete a traffic study of this area, which included crash data at the Kroger signal. And based on this information, engineering is supportive of the variance request on the conditions that they prohibit the market hours to Saturday between 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., and that it follows the small, low-impact vision as described in the petitioner's packet. It is also recommended that they post a no left turn sign for exiting vehicles during the market hours at the end of their driveway.
Ms. Schaefer, did you mean to say 11 p.m. or a.m.?
11 a.m. Did I
Thank
say
you.
p.m.? Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We have received 3 letters of support for this variance, and those are the adjacent properties that are highlighted in blue here. So the commercial properties to the east, the dentistry office to the north, and then the residential property directly adjacent to the west. So we do recommend approval with these conditions. There are several conditions here. Again, that market hours be restricted to 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. A no left turn sign be posted along 116th Street for exiting vehicles. The use shall adhere to the intended low impact use described in the proposal. The recording of the variance letter and that this variance and conditions will be binding on the current property owners and not transfer if the land were to sell in the future. And
Board
then we're
members,
here to
any
answer any
questions?
questions you have.
I have no questions.
Rick, do you have a question? Megan, I do have a question. The no left turn sign, will that be something that the petitioner will have to put up, or will Fisher's Public Works work with them to put up a proper no left turn sign?
We would expect the property owner to construct the sign and post that.
Okay.
If they want recommendations on the type of signage, they can contact me or the Public Works Department, and we can point them in the right direction. But it would be their responsibility to construct and post.
I guess,
Thank you.
Steve, you're asking good questions. It triggers a question for me. It's my understanding that sign will be portable, meaning it won't stay there permanent. It's just posted during the time that they're utilizing this use.
Correct, yeah. The way I would envision it is just sitting along their driveway for exiting customers, and then they'd be able to remove it during non-market hours.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
Yes, we do. I would make a motion to approve the petition as it was presented by the petitioners, conditioned upon the staff recommendations that have been enunciated for us.
The staff recommendations as presented, I believe, were market hours restricted on Saturdays between 8 and 11 a.m., a no left turn sign posted on 116th Street for exiting vehicles during market hours. The use shall adhere to the intended low-impact market as described in the proposal from the Mattinglys. The recordings of the BZA approval letter containing the terms and conditions shall be recorded. And conditions are binding on the current property owners. If they sell the property, this does not pass along to the subsequent purchaser. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Okay, could you call the roll?
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Fay. Yes. Excuse me. Mr. Ferrucci.
Yes, motion passes. Very good. Thank you. Good luck to you. Okay. Next matter is case VA 21-18, 10036 Wild Turkey Row. Consideration of a development standard variance from sections 3.2.4B.5B of R3 residential development standards to exceed the maximum impervious surface of 40% for site improvements. Our petitioner is Perma Pools on behalf of the property owner Brian and Shannon Ulmer. I may have that wrong. Brian Ulmer and Shannon Tai, I believe. Sir, could you state your name and address, please?
Sure. Hi, I'm Brian Omer. I'm the owner of the residence at 10036 Wild Turkey Row with my wife, Shannon. You were close, Shannon Ty.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We live here along with my two daughters, aged 13 and 11, one of whom is on the swim team. And appreciate your time here. Again, we're proposing to expand the pool deck behind our house. And, oh, Dan? All right, thank you.
Hey, so my name's Dan. I'm with Jessica on here behalf of Perma Pools. So we're looking to expand the lot coverage. Currently, the neighborhood's 40%. Ours is going to be 50%. There's a lot of pools in this neighborhood. You know, Perma Pools, we've been around since '87, and we have a really good relationship with Fishers. The whole entire pool deck will be all pavers. It's a fiberglass one-piece shell. There's a lot of pools in the neighborhood already. It's going to have an automatic cover, heater, everything else to code. Yeah, you can kind of see the landscape design up there. So the pool deck doesn't encroach anywhere on the easement or anything in the backyard. It's just a larger pool deck. There is also a retention pond in the back of that house, which is going to help with drainage when we do the culvert system, which is if there's any groundwater underneath the shell, it's going to drain out towards the back of the property. But the pool doesn't encroach anywhere on the the 15-foot drainage and utility easement on the back side of the property.
Anything else, sir?
That's it.
Thank you. Any questions? No. Okay, at this point, I'd like to open the public hearing. If anyone is here to speak on variance VA 21-18, please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record, please. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Ask staff to present.
Hello, Andrew, Planner 1 for the City of Fishers. Been here before. This, again, it is at 10036 Wild Turkey Row. So if you're unfamiliar with the general location, this is the Fox Hollow at Geist subdivision. We were here, I believe, a month or two ago for a very similar variance in the same subdivision. This is north of 96th Street and west of Bolio Road. As stated, they are zoned R3 that has an impervious surface maximum of 40%. They're seeking a variance for 50% for the patio. So there's a little bit of a backstory here, which is that the pool had been applied for and permitted, and then when another permit came in, it was made aware to us that there were a few more improvements to the landscape than had been originally presented in the pool permit that was approved. So the other improvement was on hold until we could kind of, find a way forward. So everything that you see on this site plan, as far as the pool footprint, as well as the footprint of the deck, which currently exists, those are all on the property, and then the pool has already been permitted. So this variance request is really for an expanded patio around the new pool. So with the pool, they put in just a very minimal surround, which came in right at our 40% limit. Their original plans are what you see here, expanded patio area with a little bit of I believe it's a seating wall. As far as the drainage, this is just a general site image showing the topography lines. So these are 1-foot contours. So you can see how any water in the rear yard would drain off largely into the retention pond. And then that retention pond outlet is also right behind their property. And that retention pond does eventually drain into B Camp Creek, which then goes into Geist. Because of the location of this, staff doesn't have any concerns. We do recommend approval with the conditions that are pretty typical for these, that the approval is limited to the plans as discussed here today, and that a following approval letter and memorandum of understanding is recorded on the property. So with those typical conditions, we would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Okay. Seeing no questions, will we entertain a motion?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve VA 20, to approve VA 21-18 as presented and with the approval letter recorded to the property.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Secretary?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, our last item tonight is case VA-21-20, mall perimeter fence, consideration of a variance of development standards UDO section 6.18.2-B, walls and fences, to allow for an 8-foot perimeter fence in her rear yard. Lillian Malal, is that right? Thank you. Ma'am, if you could approach the podium and state your name and your address.
My name is Lillian Molel, and my address is 10615 Aspen Drive in Fashions.
Very good.
And I'm here to request a variance to raise the fence from 6 feet to 8 feet. And the reason is that I have a son who is severely autistic. He is 19 now, but over the years, among the many challenges that we faced was him running off from the home into the neighborhood, and neighbors will help me go look for him, and sometimes Fishers Police, if we can't locate him, if he's out of sight, we call 911. So over the years, we adjusted our home to secure him better, including putting a 6-foot fence, and that helped for many years. But then as he got older and taller, he was able to climb over the 6-foot fence. He would pull himself up and he would just fly over to the other side. And by the time we get to the car to go find him, he's disappeared. So, and one time I was talking on the phone with the dispatcher, and while driving, looking for him, and he was in the driveway, somebody's driveway, because normally he would just go look for like treats or cookies or candies, whatever, and he's 19, so he's older now, and from his outward appearance, you can't tell that he has a disability. You just think he's somebody who is over to like rob you or something. So I was driving to look for him, and I was talking on the phone with the dispatcher, and I found him in this driveway, and this guy was on top of him. He was lying on the ground, face down, and the guy was lying on top of him with the headlock, screaming at him, "What are you doing in my car? What are you doing in my driveway?" But my son can't talk because one of the autistic characteristic is that there's no speech, no language. So he was just looking around. And so I was able to just get out of the car and talk to him, and I told him, no, he's nonverbal, he's special needs. And so I feel that we need to raise the backyard fence so that he can be out there playing safely without us worrying about him jumping the fence. So we're requesting to be able to do that.
Thank you. Any questions?
No questions.
Ma'am, I do have one question for you.
Yes.
If we raise the fence to 8 foot, are you confident that he won't jump over the 8-foot fence?
I think so, yes. I believe that would prevent him from jumping over, and he would just save us from always chasing after him and worrying about him, and maybe even save the city some money from not having the police officer come look for him all the time, because I'm sure it's costly every time they come over to try to find him. I do believe that the 8-foot fence will help.
Thank you, ma'am. At this point, I'd like to open the public hearing. Ask anyone that wants to speak on petition VA 21-20 to please approach the podium. I will acknowledge that there have been a number of letters of support in support of your petition, ma'am. We've read those letters, we're aware of them. So if there is no one here from the public to speak on this, I'll close the public hearing and ask staff to please present.
Hello, Board. This is Jonah, planner with the Planning and Zoning Department. On behalf, presenting to you VA 21-20, a request for variance of development standards to allow for an 8-foot fence. The petitioner is Lillian Molell. She's a property owner, currently zoned PUD Sand Creek Woods, and the existing land use is single-family residential. The request for variance is regarding to section 6.18.2-B regarding maximum fence heights. The maximum residential perimeter fence height is 6 feet. Petitioner is asking for 8 feet per the reasons stated in her presentation. Her home is located south of 121st Street and east of Cumberland Road in a quaint, cute little single-family subdivision. This is an example of the present 6-foot fence that exists, standard perimeter fence in the neighborhood. They're still working on a bid, so there are no final designs for the 8-foot fence, but here are some examples from a contractor. Should be provided in your staff report as well. We have received 1 letter of support for the variance request from an abutting neighbor, and we have not received any letters expressing concern or expressing grievances regarding the approval of the variance. Staff recommends approval with the condition that should future property owners, other than Ms. Molell, relocate, substantially modify, or renovate the proposed 8-foot fence, they shall be required to comply with section 6.18.2-B. This is to ensure that should the Molells ever move, that the next property owner doesn't have to immediately tear down a 6-foot fence, and that the 8-foot fence can exist so long as it's not moved or etc.
Questions of our staff?
I've got a question. Have we looked into how the neighborhood association and the covenants feel about this?
I believe Ms. Molell has reached out and has gotten approval from the HOA. They're pending per approval from this board.
Does Ms. Molell understand that anything that we do here, approval or disapproval, doesn't have anything to do with the HOA? They still have to approve the fence if it's part of their covenants.
Per our conversations I've had with Ms. Molell, that should be understood.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
No further questions.
Any other questions, Rick? Okay, no other questions of staff at this point. Entertain a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve matter number VA-21-20 with the conditions that future property owners, if they substantially move, remodel, renovate the fence, it shall be required to comply with the property zoning ordinance.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
I would also add real quick, the recording of the BZA approval letter as well.
Well, I amend my motion to include the approval letter from the BZA.
Do we have a second of the amended motion?
Second.
Secretary, could you call the roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Good luck, ma'am. Good luck to you. Thank you. Okay, that closes all of our petitions. Is there any new business this evening, staff? Seeing no new business, I'd entertain a motion to end our meeting. All in
Motion
favor?
to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion, meeting adjourned.